Hi, my name is Joshua Herring. I chose for the specific book and chapter Reading the Bible with the Founding Fathers by Daniel Dreisbach, chapter 2 specifically. In chapter 2, he discusses um, how the American government, society, culture, and education are all influenced by the Bible. Um, he actually begins off by making reference to specifically the Protestant Reformation, all the way back with Martin Luther. Talking more specifically on the idea of how there is that individuality, that separation from the true kind of totalitarian kind of authority of the Roman Catholic Church, having full control over Scripture, full control over ideas, full control over what is deemed as salvation. And so, with, of course, the Gutenberg Bible, the printing press, vernacular Bibles, more specifically, we now see that there is a growth, huge growth in individuality. These individuals, they begin to create their new own ideas. We see the Enlightenment. It begins to go to the U.S. Well, the colonies more specifically. But before that time, we see the Pilgrims. Pilgrims actually take over the Geneva Bible, not the King James Version. The Geneva is what he talks about. And so they take it over and they begin to have this kind of Protestant idea of Bible first, not authorities, not people, but the Bible. And so, having the Bible first, we begin to base, of course, our lives around Scripture because Scripture is the integral part. It is the essence of life in their eyes and mine as well. But so you begin to see them to put laws that are scripturally based, more specifically judicial. So more of court cases, how to deal with certain problems, that kind of thing is made reference in Scripture. And he makes reference to this further down in chapter 2, talking about court cases, that kind of stuff. And so then as we get further along, we begin to see other sort of changes that begin to occur, like he then makes reference to the Constitution, and the Constitution, of course, being one nation under God. And so, with that being said, then you have more specifically the Bill of Rights. And in the Bill of Rights, your First Amendment. First Amendment being freedom of religion, free speech, free press. All of these are, in essence, in the Christian lifestyle, in the identity of Christ. And so that is his main focus and his main argument, is that all of society is based around the main pivotal focus of the Bible, of God, and more specifically American society. And so the other two sources that I've found, these sources specifically go into slightly different aspects. One more specifically, Paul Gudya, Sacred Text in the United States. This more specifically, he goes into talking about it being American society being a people of the book, being integral to that kind of idea. We are part of the Bible. The Bible is a part of us, kind of thing. You can't have one without the other in society, more specifically. And so that's where he kind of delves into it, and he goes deeper into the subject of talking about how it is a sacred text of the American idea, kind of thing, and how we stem all of our existence somewhat from it, is kind of the idea. And so then we have Donald Lutz, the relative influence of European writers on late 18th century American political thought. And so this one, he he actually goes into data. He goes and he looks at how the Bible is actually cited. Uh, Around 34% of all sort of citations that are used in the 1770s, 34% of them are from the Bible. And then others are pamphlets. Well, pamphlets are from Scripture, and that'd be 10%. And so you have 44% of all citations within the 1770s is the Bible. The Bible is nearly half of all citations that are used around the time of sparking of the American Revolution. And so you have reference to that kind of freedom and freedom of religion, freedom of, well, from authority. And that's kind of a sparking of revolution and kind of what the idea and what I think that he's going for. And so that being the historiography and all the complexities around it. And that is it. Thank you.